Hello, Facebook beauties. Another thing I wanted to talk about, I was talking with my friend last night, and we were talking about back in the I was like, we are so spoiled these days. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, when our water is turned off, because, I live in housing, he lives in housing too. And he's actually my ex, but we're like best friends now. But and even we always talk about anything. But his water was turned off, and in housing we go through that sometimes. And I was like, we're so spoiled. Back in the early 1900s, you had to go fetch your water. They didn't have faucets, so I don't know if y'all seen Ray Charles, the movie. So basically, that big thing where they wash clothes, that's how they wash clothes. They didn't have machines. To take a bath, you had to go get water and bring it and make your bath. But naturally, even if you have hot water, whatever, I'm pretty sure they had to boil it. It gets cold as you're in the bath. They didn't have a faucet that just, come down or whatever. And they did this for thousands of years, right? The whole faucet and everything, that came about in the 1930s and 40s. And even then, people still had to do the bath and the iron bucket. So we're so fortunate and we're so spoiled that we have shower heads and we have faucets and we have all of these luxuries. Even hospitals, if you guys talk to the elders of your family, it's good to talk to them, because people that are older than baby boomers, they did not get vaccinations. They did not. They didn't go to hospitals, right? But they lived until 97. And my great aunt was 97. I'm pretty sure she didn't start going to a hospital until like the 70s and stuff. People, especially, my father's side, people live pretty long too. But my mom's side, people live like really long. Like my grandmother was 87 when she died. So yes, I had to take a pause real quick. But yes, so we were talking and I was like, some people forget like about, their elders and their family, and it's good to talk. And my grandmother, before she died, and her sister, she died at 97 in 2021, and my grandmother died in 2006. But they grew up very poor. My great grandparents, they had 16 children, so they were very poor. And most people had 10 kids. They had 16, and my great grandmother gave birth at home. Hospitals were a luxury. Also, hospitals didn't really come out until the 1800s, and that was for the rich. So when you look at the history of hospitals and everything like that, it was for the rich. And then remind you, if you have family in the South in the 1930s and 40s, if you were black, you couldn't get in. You couldn't get in the hospital. Remember, there's a baseball player, I forget his name. He was a baseball player, and he had to rob a drugstore because his wife was sick, and they refused to give him the medicine because he was black, so he robbed them. I mean, it was wrong, but he felt that's what he had to do. So people forget our people had to go through a lot just for the bare minimum. Sorry, I had another interruption. But yes, so, and that's what makes us, piggybacking off of my last video, whether you Indian, white, black, whatever, we all have that in common, that back in the days, our people, grandparents and so forth, they were not vaccinated, right? Also, I remember my father told me, basically, measles and chickenpox and stuff, that came out in the 1950s. So the whole vaccination thing and mandatory to get vaccinated, that didn't happen until the 1950s at all. 1950s. Mark my words, 1950s. Humans have been on the earth for thousands of years. So what does that tell you? Are vaccinations really a need, or is it just a way to make money? Like, really, I want y'all to really stop and think. Like, this is a stop and think series. But on a real serious note, people are so, I have vaccinations, because that's what my parents were told to do. But look at our people who live to be 90 something. It's some people I know, they family members live to be 100 and something. They ain't have no damn vaccination. I know for a fact that if you're older than a baby boomer, you do not have vaccinations because it was not mandatory when they were children. It wasn't. So you mean to tell me, oh, well, this is new stuff. This is new diseases. Some people might argue that this is new diseases. I don't know. But basically COVID-19 is deja vu of Spanish fly. Or no, Spanish flu, sorry. Spanish flu. And they said it was the same thing, had to wear a mask, whatever. They was done with it in 2 years, 1902. I'm gonna remind y'all, okay? Spanish flu happened in Spain and I think 2 other European countries, I can't think right now, but Spanish flu lasted 2 years and they were done with it, right? 1902, this is a time of you gotta take a bath in a bucket, the toileting, they're sanitary, they want all that sanitary back then. Nowadays, we got hand sanitizer, we got bleach. They didn't have all of that back then, but yet they were able to control the flu, right? So why is it that it's 2023, people are still catching COVID, people are still getting sick? Why is that? You got to really stop and think. And everybody's so big on vaccinations. I'm vaccinated because of school and work. I'm vaccinated because, my father kind of pressed it. And I actually was doing security, Allied Universal, shout out to them. They did not make their employees get vaccinated at all. However, they said if you are vaccinated, let us know and we'll give you some money. They had like a raffle or something. Basically encouraging people they encouraged us to get it. They didn't tell us you have to get it or else, but and then with the DOE, they told everybody they had to get 1 shot. And then I remember when I first started subbing again, because I've been doing this 6 years off and on. When I first came back to the DOE, folks, school safety wanted to see your vaccination card. They was not playing. And you had to take a survey and the whole 9 yards. And then all of a sudden, about after 2 months, they stopped it. So to me, it's like a whole bunch of crap. It's all about money. And my birthday weekend, shout out to Green Jones Spa. I went to the spa after work on March 10th. The lady who did my nails was Russian, and she said, please, I'm Russian. You know what my country's been through? And she said, I ain't scared of no COVID. And I'm like, yo, I'm black and I feel the same way. Like at the end of the day, and that's what I told my father when we was going through it, and I told my son's grandmother, I said, y'all been through racism. Y'all been through real stuff. Racism, the crack era, the 70s. The 70s was bad. The 60s was bad. And y'all scared of COVID? Look what y'all overcame. When y'all was kids, Malcolm X and Dr. King died. Somebody shot y'all president. This is what I don't understand about baby boomers. Y'all went through a lot. Y'all went through a lot of stuff. Racism, job loss. Most baby boomers, they went through some type of trauma because of the crack era, because of the 70s, the hippies, drugs. If they wasn't on drugs themselves, they had a sibling or cousin on drugs. Because when the crack era came, it hit hard. And everybody was affected one way or another. Either you got robbed by a crackhead or somebody in your family became a crackhead. So you went through all of that. The 90s, Clintons, Trump. Come on, we done went through Bush and 9/11, and y'all scared of COVID? Please. So it's like you really put things into perspective, but I wanted to say, the older ones, they really went through it, and millennials, we spoiled. We really are. Like, we have all these resources, we have all this access. Let's use it. I hope this go viral, and I hope more people are like-minded. Like, let's wake up. We still sleep. Let's wake up. They said an asteroid is coming in 2046. Now, I don't know if that's man-made, or I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's accurate, but it's like, what causes an asteroid? Is there a way? Even my coworker, when I told her today, she's like, isn't there a way to stop it? If we could eliminate Pluto, why we can't stop an asteroid? And that's excellent. That's excellent critical thinking, because I ain't even think that far. She said, yeah, if we could eliminate Pluto, why can't we stop an asteroid? They don't want to stop it. That's what it is. Stop and think.